MSX. Greetings, I'm Solidus Skully, and well, we're pretty much going hard and fast into this one, but yes, this is Metal Gear. The original Metal Gear. None of that solid shit. And yes, because, you know, this is Solid Snake's first mission, as he's infiltrating Outer Heaven. Yes, we're playing easy mode, because he's still too green. He hasn't learned the ropes, and he has to stay out of Grey Fox's way. But Grey Fox has been captured, as we're about to learn right here. This is Big Boss. Operation Intruder N313. Infiltrate the enemy base, Outer Heaven, and destroy the ultimate weapon, Metal Gear. Ending transmission. With next line, let's go over the details first. Make contact with Grey Fox and find the location of the ultimate weapon, Metal Gear. Let's use frequency 120.85 for all communications from now on. So, that's pretty much our plot right then and there. Amazing how quickly that was wrapped up. I mean, if this was anything post-1998, there would have been, you know, a complete full-on fucking... Oh no, we're here in Gosberg, South Africa. Outer Heaven is a military facility. Look out, there are some sort of technobabble bullshit enemies scanning your location. Once again, this is a one-man mission. OSP, equipment, submersible, fucking whatever. Anyway, Metal Gear. My reasons for playing this game are numerous and kind of pointless, to be honest. The main primary reason why I wanted to do this is because, well, I mean, apart from wanting to make sure that I have enough content of Birth by Sleep to last me throughout the holiday season, because this is typically when, you know, real-life responsibilities and work tend to get a little bit busy for me. The other reason is primarily because, I don't know, I just kind of felt in a very Metal Gear mood, again, which is weird, because I've kind of gone off the franchise for a couple of years, but now it's sort of came back with a vengeance. So yeah, that's primarily the reason. You're pretty much going to be seeing this about a couple of days leading up to Christmas, then you'll eventually get the Silent Hill Downpour review on Christmas Day itself, and then I should have enough of Aqua Story and Birth by Sleep to pretty much last me until the new year, so again, you got that to look forward to. But in the meantime though, I just sort of wanted to have this commentary as a means of, well, relaxing really. Again, while I mean it has been a wee while since I've recorded this, I do still know this game like the back of my hand. I've played it fairly frequently, and I don't know, Metal Gear, let's have fun. Not gonna take this too seriously, but hey, you got silly voices, you got Solidus Skully having fun with Metal Gear, again, for the first time in what feels like years. Yeah, that's pretty much the breaks, really. So anyway, Metal Gear 1, released in 1987, again, famously developed by Hideous Kojima, and, yeah, in terms of, this game, well, I already reviewed it a couple of years ago now, so, and if you want my full thoughts, go there, but, if you want my rambly, whatever thoughts, yeah, I'm quite surprised at how well this game still holds up, and how a lot of its design elements made its way into Metal Gear Solid. But anyway, I suppose I might as well talk about the straight and narrow as we're going through it. Yeah, Metal Gear 1 tells the story of young rookie Foxhound operative Solid Snake, fresh out of his military training from the Gulf War, and now he's basically off doing secret sneaking missions. I take it that this is meant to be his first, since again they do frequently bring up the fact that Solid Snake is meant to be a rookie, but again, he's not alone in this mission. After all, he has, you know, one of his Foxhound comrades, Grey Fox, captured by the Outer Heaven forces and its mysterious leader, and of course his last transmission being Metal Gear, an ultimate weapon which is a bipedal walking paddle tank, and is pretty much poised to take over the world unless Solid Snake goes his way in there and tries to destroy the ultimate weapon. Of course, aiding Solid Snake is no other members of Foxhound, because I guess they didn't really have that much of an extensive roster, unless the recent revival of Metal Gear means that there's going to be more retconning games in the years since, but that's a topic I'll talk about for another day. Anyway, we have as commanding officer Big Boss, leader of Foxhound, and pretty much the one who... I believe it's implied that he set up the unit? I don't know, they never really cover the timeline beyond, you know, Metal Gear Solid 5 and what happens between this point, but I'm guessing that was meant to be the intent? Yeah, well. Anyway, we'll save a lot of that retconny bullshit for later on. In the meantime, it is time to talk about gameplay, because it's about time we started the game now, and we're already a fair way in at this stage. And yeah, I'm not gonna be doing silly voices for all the radio message because that would wear out the gimmick rather fast, but don't worry, you will still get plenty of pepperings and silly voice messages over this 2D game in due time. Because I kind of learned since Chain of Memories, since I would probably run out of things to talk about, and, you know, people might not be following along with the story, I figured I might as well just commentate over it while I can. And cover up the fact that I am completely failing at stealth, which is why I'm playing on easy mode, because god damn it, you found out. I'm about as well suited to stealth as a bull in a china shop after seeing some wavy material. But anyway, to kind of get into game mechanics, yeah, Metal Gear, obviously, unless you've been living under a rock since 1987, is a stealth game. You're primarily wanting to avoid stuff like, you know, security cameras, which can pretty much detect you, and of course will pretty much summon an alert which will send guards towards your location, and, well, bad things will happen if you get spotted. Again, your main means of taking out enemies is punching them, shooting them with a gun, but you do have to be careful because even as early as 1987, Kojima and Metal Gear itself was a very detail-oriented game. Again, use a gun without a SOCOM suppressor, and you'll pretty much make a lot of noise, attract enemies to your location, and pretty much fuck yourself up every which way in Sunday. So, you gotta be careful, you gotta be sneaky, a little bit sleazy, and pretty much just worm your way into these facilities. Again, your primary method of rescuing people in this stage is, well, okay. Your main objective in terms of what Solid Snake is here to actually do is rescue the hostages, destroy Metal Gear, and basically go home to, you know, Foxtown HQ, and then go out for ice cream with your commanding officer, Big Boss. Because, much like many things, Big Boss believes in ice cream, and he believes in Santa Claus. At least according to Peace Walker. And speaking of Big Boss, it's time for another radio message. Getting a communication. This is Big Boss. I forgot to tell you that you're gonna need a gas mask for the gas room. Schneider, the leader of the Resistance, should be able to tell you where to get a gas mask. Over. And yes, I am using a Sean Connery impression for Big Boss because that was who he was modelled after, and, well, quite frankly, we already have the David Hayter voice for Solid Snake, so it'd be kinda redundant. And also, Kiefer Sutherland sounds incredibly generic. This is Resistance Leader Schneider. The gas mask is on the first floor of the south. Over. I said that wrong. Whoopsie daisies. Yeah, I do apologise to any South African viewers of mine, like, all one, possibly two of you, but, yeah, a kind of stereotypical voice as it might be. I mean, this game does technically take place in South Africa, so, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an appropriate voice to give to Schneider, but anyway, to sort of get into backstories here, Schneider specifically actually has a rather tragic one. He was initially the architect of the Outer Heaven facility, and again, his wife and child pretty much got caught in the crossfire, which pretty much set him up as the head of the Outer Heaven resistance, and primarily here to stop the mysterious leader of Outer Heaven from basically committing war crimes. Which I suppose I might as well talk about what Outer Heaven is. For those of you only familiar with the Solid series, you're probably hearing about it as, you know, this grand goal for characters like, you know, Liquid Snake. I think it was briefly mentioned by Solidus as well, and of course the whole Metal Gear Solid 3 thing, which, you know, stuff we'll get into a wee bit later, but the idea behind Outer Heaven is that it's basically what's meant to be a sort of like micronation where it's pretty much like a militarized micronation where, again, soldiers are very much rent-a-war bastards, for lack of a very elegant way of putting it. Again, they're soldiers to be hired for specific conflicts, regional, all across the world. They don't really ascribe to any specific government apart from the leader of Outer Heaven, which is why he needs to be stopped. And, ostensibly, they basically have a nuclear weapon at their disposal, which, again, whether in 1987 or in 2023, pretty much spells bad news, so, yeah, we pretty much have to go stop it. It's a good thing that the world isn't under threat of nuclear proliferation today. It's all swings and roundabouts as our civilization, and now we are back. But anyway, with Metal Gear and the fact that this nation exists in the bloody terrible war zone that is South Africa, yeah, we pretty much have no choice but to stop them, so let's get the gas mask and continue to make our way throughout the facility. And yeah, I am also going to be cutting down on backtracking significantly because in terms of spatial awareness, you pretty much know exactly where exactly I went in order to get here. Going up the lift, back to the second floor, going through here. And jobs are good and really. By the way, no O2 gauge in this section, so as long as you have the gas mask equipped, you can pretty much stay in this gassy area indefinitely. Except when you have to switch cards, because that way your health is going to be draining a wee bit. But anyway, I'll get into the nitty-gritty details a little bit later. And by which I mean after this next radio message, because fuck it. Thank you for releasing me! The Foxhound member that infiltrated this base a few days ago was unharmed. Oh, the shame of my prison hood. They captured him. Yeah, and that's also how you're going to be getting a lot of your exposition here. Yes, in terms of who you're rescuing, again, I'm not really too sure what these prisoners are really meant to be. Are they prisoners of war from the Outer Heaven Resistance, or are they members of Foxhound that were working with Solid Snake? Well, I mean, either way, they do pretty much have your insider information in terms of what you're getting in Outer Heaven. Big Boss is primarily there to give you orders and give you information on your equipment, such as, you know, weapons, tools at your disposal, stuff like that. Schneider was pretty much there to give you information regarding, you know, the Outer Heaven facility and, you know, all the little ins and outs of where to find specific items so you don't get lost. You do get information on enemy intel, which we'll be seeing a wee bit later on, and of course you also have, well, Jennifer's frequency, which is by far the most useful out of them all because she actually affects things in gameplay and is pretty much the only one there directly helping you. So yeah. Anyway, to talk about Metal Gear from a gameplay standpoint, you'd be surprised to know that not much really changes between this and the Solid series, really. There are a few differences here and there that I will point out, but yeah, it's a stealth game. You're sneaking around, avoiding security cameras, avoiding getting spotted by the enemy. You are trying to take enemies out as stealthily as you possibly can. But I mean, apart from that though, again, collecting items in order to progress, finding specific tools to help you out through specific hazards and, you know, enemies, but yeah. I mean, you have stuff like binoculars, which are pretty much there to see one screen ahead and so it'll plan out your movements accordingly. You have rations to recover health, ammunition to, you know, stock up on weapons, guns, plastic explosives. Pretty much all specific tools to help you advance in your goals, and quite frankly, the fact that a lot of this even comes close to resembling, you know, a lot of the stuff that became, you know, commonplace during Metal Gear Solid, I think is a remarkably good sign of the game design that went into Metal Gear Solid. I mean, even stuff like, you know, remote-controlled missiles. We see that in Metal Gear Solid, and it got its start here, pretty much using the same sort of method of the overhead view, pretty much used to, you know, sweep across the bay. But you'll be seeing how the missiles work as soon as we get there. But there are also a lot of specific traps, such as this little rolling drum trap that'll pretty much flatten you like borscht. Even though borscht is not flat, it's minced, like tomato soup. Go back to Russia. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, in terms of differences from Metal Gear Solid, I mean, apart from the fact that there are a few archaic bits of the design, such as, again, having to switch between keycards as you advance further on in the game, yeah, there's also the enemy's field of vision. These enemies have a very specific case of tunnel vision because they can't look left or right, they don't have a little cone field of vision. This is Big Boss. I forgot to tell you that in order to turn off the juice, you're gonna have to destroy the electrical panel. The power panel, I should say. You'll need an RC missile. Schneider, the leader of the Resistance, should be able to tell you where to get one. Over. This is Solid Snake. Come in. This is Resistance Leader Schneider. The RC missiles are in the southwest. Over. Yes, thank you, Schneider. But anyway, they don't have a cone field of vision, so yeah, the field of vision is pretty much directly in front of them, and that also isn't limited by range. Again, if they see you from like the other end of the screen, they pretty much see you. So again, there's no nanomachine sightless bullshit going on here. Again, if they spot you at the end of the hallway and you're in their direct line of sight, they will find you, but you can manipulate it by pretty much standing slightly off to the left, and they will not see you. They have a very selective intelligence, it seems. But at the same time, though, you can't just rest easy on that field of vision pretty much blocking them out forever, because, okay, well, I'll tell you after we save this guy. Thank you for releasing me! Diane from the Resistance will provide support on the frequency 120.33. Diane should have a lot of information about the enemy, my child. Okay, I'll get back to that previous sound as soon as we're contacting Diane, who, yeah, as we find out here, isn't available right now. I'm guessing she's possibly civilian personnel, just living out her daily life and helping the Resistance where she can, but yeah, she's going shopping during all this, because whoopee. Anyway, Diane is pretty much the first of, 2, maybe 3 love interests that Solid Snake really tends to sort of get. I mean, again, if you're gonna count Holy White and Merrill, that's pretty much it, really. Anyway, as for anything else, like, I mean, standing slightly off to the left won't save you when you get spotted by the enemy, as you've no doubt seen throughout the many times in which I've gotten caught, because, yeah, guards pretty much flood in the room, and they will make mincemeat out of you if you're unprepared, because, as you can see here, your health is only reduced to half, and, again, that's not a glitch or a programming quirk of the game, that's to do with another facet of the gameplay, your ranking system. Although sometimes you will have no choice but to fight like over here, so, yeah, make use of your weapons and fight for your life. But anyway, to talk about the ranking system, part of the reason why you want to be saving hostages is to build up your class. Again, you're noticing right there that Snake only has 1 star, and no, that's not to do with his wanted level because he was a little bit naughty in front of the police. No, that's entirely to do with the fact that, again, Snake is pretty much there to build up his rank. The more rank you get, the more health, ammunition, and stuff you can carry. This is admittedly where the difficulty does sort of come into play, because, again, playing on easy mode, you get more items and supplies to pretty much help you. Compared to other Metal Gear games later on, which pretty much do change specific facets of the gameplay, like, you know, the position of specific items, or, you know, where stuff like, you know, the SOCOM is placed compared to anything else. Stuff like that, really. Again, there's not really much of that here, but it's just more a case of, you know, how much stuff you can carry, and what you can do. But there is a very specific caveat with the hostages in and of themselves, because you don't want to do anything that can potentially kill them. Like, again, if you shoot them with a gun, yeah, the hostages die, and they also take away a star of your ranking, so be very careful when aiming your weapons. If you go a bit willy-nilly, then you lose your rank, you lose your items, and pretty much, you lose your lunch. So be careful. And that's what I was talking about with the field of vision. We do have a SOCOM suppressor now, so again, we can pretty much fire our weapons without much fear of attracting the enemy presence, so that's pretty much good. And oh look, a cardboard box! I do kind of wish I got the radio transceiver conversation with Big Boss, kind of chiding the whole cardboard box strategy, even though he was the one who invented it to begin with. He lost his way, man. What happened to the days of Snake Eater? But yeah, this is also where the cardboard box got its start. It's primarily there as your means of avoiding getting seen if you're in a pinch, avoiding security cameras specifically as they scroll up and down, pretty much avoiding the enemy sight, really. So the cardboard box is a very useful tool, but don't move in front of the enemies as, you know, they're looking at you, because again, they will suspect that a cardboard box is moving on its own, and yeah, if they do that, well, then you're pretty much spotted, and that cardboard box becomes about as protective as cardboard, really. This is Big Boss. I forgot to tell you that there's a wind barrier on the roof. Look for a bomb blast chute. Over. Well, I'll be a son of a flippin' shit biscuit, and it seems that Big Boss is really starting to forget things in his old age. I wonder. Oh, well, I mean, I suppose he was in his late 50s when he started siring some sons, so fuck it, whatever, I suppose. But, again, part of the reason why I started off my tangent with son of a flipping shit biscuit is because I had to re-record this. Again. And it's a lengthy sequence of pure gameplay, baby. But anyway, I suppose to sort of talk about the game's design in terms of how it leads you around. Yeah, compared to a lot of other games of its 80s ilk, which would usually have, you know, very poorly translated Japanese quotes of like, don't look into the Death Star, you'll die, or you know, stuff like, I am Error from like, you know, Castlevania Dracula's Curse and Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link. Yeah, compared to most games of its era, Metal Gear 1 actually has a fairly solid way of navigating the player to where they need to go. I mean, granted, there are some moments of, you know, 80s design bullshit as you're going to be seeing right here by punching the wall and only really knowing where to go by the question mark, which tells you to blow up a wall. And again, tut-tut, you should have used like a different wall texture to indicate stuff, but again, like, I mean, apart from small little stuff like that, again, I'd say the game design holds up remarkably well. I mean, if you ever need to know where to go, just talk to Big Boss, he'll give you your mission objective. Again, if you want to find out where specific items are, talk to Schneider. Need advice on how to take out specific boss fights, talk to Diane. So again, like, I mean, compared to a lot of other games of the 80s, Metal Gear 1's design is just... I mean, the fact that a lot of the stuff later came back in Metal Gear Solid and beyond is... Again, it's a sign of just timeless game design, really. I mean, sure, it might seem a little bit frightening to newcomers at first, but at the same time, though, compared to a lot of games of the 80s, again, if you're at least able to tackle Metal Gear Solid 1 effectively enough, then again, I think you'd be more than capable of handling Metal Gear 1 on the MSX, so yeah. I mean, it's available now via the Master Collection. Have at it, dude. By the way, one thing I want to point out, there are dogs here. Run away, run away, run away, run away. No, I guess the dog ain't here. But yeah, all the dogs that you would have trained up in Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, as little pups and later attack dogs, yeah, now they're chasing after Solid Snake and you can kill them. All your hard work going to waste, and I suppose even in that sense, all the soldiers you trained as well. All killed by Solid Snake. Yes! Undermined that evil philosophy. Yeah, it's kind of surprising actually that Solid Snake eventually became a dog musher after this. Oh well, I guess he got over all the various bites after a while. Run away, run away, run away, run away! And yes, that dog is moving slightly faster, so you want to make sure you either take out the dogs immediately or move one screen away, because again, they do move faster than Snake can run, and, well, I mean, obviously, dogs are pretty quick on their feet. I mean, you know, personal anecdote here, but I mean, even as a skateboarder, as a wee lad, yeah, I've seen many dogs catch up to me, even though I was trying desperately to get away on wheels, so, yeah, make of that what you will. Anyway, we can't quite get the Bomb Blast suit just yet, so the roof is pretty much off limits. But I kind of forgot about this, because while I did have a recent playthrough of Metal Gear 1 before, you know, tackling it good and proper as a test playthrough, yeah, some details did slip my mind, as well as, you know, I mean, I did do my best to try and get all the radio messages, but sadly I do miss out on a few, like Big Boss shit-talking the cardboard box even though he invented the strategy. Much to my shame, but anyway, that's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. But again, this trip isn't all for naught. I mean, we got plastic explosives, we got some more ammunition, and of course we do get the enemy uniform, which will pretty much save a bit of time later. So, again, there was a reason why we had to come here, and don't worry, we will be seeing the full basement a bit later on, but in the meantime though, I'll just wash off the area. It does actually have a pretty nice ambient theme. I don't know, I quite like it. I mean, Metal Gear 1's soundtrack is limited. I mean, you can count the vast amount of times you hear the theme of Tara that plays around the place, which is pretty iconic in its own right, but I don't know, I've always had a inkling towards the basement theme. Very mysterious, very sneaky. It fits the stealth atmosphere quite well, but anyway, editing down for time. So we're pretty much just here to cover my shame, the shame, by rescuing some more hostages. So, off we go. Thank you for releasing me. Line. That member of Foxhound, Grey Fox, ellipses. He's been held in a secret cell. So yeah, that's pretty much also your telling of where to go. And again, to talk about the way in which the game prompts you to navigate. Oh dear, caught by a security camera. And that will pretty much summon security guards to your location almost immediately. But yeah, again, if Big Boss won't tell you where to go, then the hostages will. So again, it does, you know, pay dividends for you to go out of your way to save them. Because don't kill them, otherwise you lose your rank and, well, you might just lose out on some advice of where to go. So be on your toes. Oh, another hostage to save the day. Thank you for releasing me.
The only way to get close to the secret cell is to get caught. I don't know why my voice changed all of a suddenlies.
So, that's pretty much what we're here to do.
We gotta get caught. Infiltrating the secret cell. Shh. It's a secret.
But yeah, putting all that aside, we also get a submachine gun. Mysteriously not named as to what specific type of weapon that it is, apart from generic machine gun. And it also does come equipped with suppressors, so yeah, this should pretty much replace your handgun at this stage. I mean, you would have thought it would have been a noisy bastard, but no, it's actually a rather useful weapon. But anyway, that's all the time we have for this week, so on that note, I'm Solidus Skully. I hope you're enjoying the Christmas season, and next time on Metal Gear, well, we're pretty much going to jail. Catch you next time.